The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Trevor, I don't get it, man. I don't get how you can cheer for McDavid and the Oilers because you care about his damn legacy when you're from Vancouver and not Canada. Okay? You know what I'm saying, Trevor?
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into the episode, we got to thank you and you for tuning into Locked On Canucks because it is your Canucks every damn day. And we're not here without you tuning in, and we're also not here without those sponsors, baby. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Kyle, you're talking trash off the top, saying that, I'm this big fan of the Edmonton Oilers and blah, blah, blah. But here you are actively cheering for the Edmonton Oilers to beat the Vegas Golden Knights. Let's get into why you're doing that, because it has something to do with the head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll get into that, some other coaching candidates, and an update on we did it again, man. We pissed the people off, and I love it. So more on that later as well. Kyle, how you doing? And since how long have you had that McDavid tattoo for?
Wow, the McDavid tattoo in my inner thigh, or on my inner thigh. The most sensitive spot of a male's body, right? For real, man. That's why I never take off my pants when I'm making love. For real, man. Anyways, Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs doing this, making love to our delusion. And I don't know. It was kind of hard not to think about the Oilers, who look a lot better than the Vegas Golden Knights. I know yesterday went to overtime and whatnot, but just like the killer instinct the Oilers had in overtime for the majority of that overtime, and that talent level that, McDavid and Draisaitl can just use whenever they want. Something just tells me they're going to beat the Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games. And something also tells me that Vegas, who has an ownership group that's very hostile and very focused on the ultimate tier of success, could move off of Bruce Cassidy very quick. Very, very quick. They've done it in the past with prior head coaches, and I just wonder. I wonder if there's a chance of that.
Well, yeah, and you look at since they won the Cup in 2023, I remember watching that Cup final with my son, who was 2 days old at the time.
Wow.
Since then, they've had, an early exit from the playoffs last year. And then this year, they could have a pretty quick exit in round 2. And Kyle, like you said, it's almost surprised me how much better the Oilers have looked than the Vegas Golden Knights. The Golden Knights get a bit of momentum in overtime. They kill off the 5-minute power play, but then they don't really generate much goal in the other direction. And you got to credit Edmonton right now overall, and Chris Knucklebacher. He's really got that team, playing tight, and all 4 lines are going. And if the Oilers can do that, they're going to be a Cup contender. It's the reason they were a Cup favorite early on in the season. It's, of course, you got McDavid and Draisaitl, but if the rest of that team's going, all of a sudden they're the scariest team in the NHL. But in terms of Bruce Cassidy and the Vegas Golden Knights, I agree with you. I could see the Vegas Golden Knights making a trigger-happy move. It's what they've done throughout their history. They've been pretty damn ruthless with players. You even look at what did they fire? Was it Pete DeBoer that they when they replaced him with Bruce Cassidy? Things seem to be going well in Vegas when they made that move. So I can see them doing that. But the big question for me is,
well, even Gallant, sorry to cut you off. I remember the whole Gallant thing, and they made the Stanley Cup Finals, and a few months later they shipped him off to Nebraska, Finland in a taxi cab. Crazy.
Yeah, Gallant and taxis, it's a love relationship as old as time there. But I do wonder that if Vegas were to make this move, if Bruce Cassidy would be the right fit from the Vancouver Canucks. And look, it's hard to dispute the success that Bruce Cassidy's had, right? He was successful in Boston. He's had success here in Vegas. Obviously wins a Cup in Vegas. But what I found interesting is there was a player poll from The Athletic that was done in February of this year, or published early February, done maybe throughout December and January. And in terms of coaches players would least like to play for, John Tortorella won the poll, but Bruce Cassidy finished in second with over 12% of the vote, which I found kind of fascinating because, again, this guy's had a lot of success. And players, who gave anonymous quotes in it were basically saying that, what I'm hearing from around the league is I haven't heard too many things about the Vegas coach Cassidy. Another player saying, I don't know him that well, but I haven't heard anything good about him. And you dive into it a bit further, and like many of these hard-ass coaches, he's pretty tough on young players, maybe tougher than most coaches nowadays. His system is pretty difficult. He's a systems-heavy coach. So if you're not a hardcore hockey nerd, you might not like playing for Bruce Cassidy. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of hearsay, to be honest. Go back to his Boston days, he's called out both young guys and veterans and in the media. He's called out Aiden Hill and Michael Amadio and players like that. He kind of calls out everyone. So I don't know, man. I'm not super enthralled with the idea of Cassidy, to be honest. But again, hard to ignore the track record.
But why wouldn't you be enthralled by him? Because he's serious and he talks his shit and he doesn't love everyone and he's super hard to play for and Vegas is successful. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it might have to do with the makeup of the Vancouver Canucks as well, too, right? Can a guy like Pettersson succeed under Bruce Cassidy?
Ooh,
right?
There you go.
And can Pettersson even succeed in general? I think that's a bigger question. But yeah, I just when there's that many players around the league that don't like playing for Cassidy, it does seem like a coach with a pretty short shelf life. Now, that being said, in Vancouver, you could argue there's a short time horizon to turn this thing around before it all gets blown up. So
yeah,
I can't come in here and say that Cassidy's the worst potential option, but I still would rather see the Canucks go in a direction like Manny Malhotra, to be honest.
Oh man,
and maybe that's me being weak, man. Maybe I'm just I'm cozying up to the bald guys, man. You should be going for the bald brother too, Kyle. But
okay,
yeah. Plus, I got to cheer for the Oilers for Bruce Cassidy to become the head coach of the Canucks. I don't know, man. There's a couple of things that rub me the wrong way about it.
But deep down, way back in the day, you said you'd rather have the Oilers beat the Maple Leafs because you want to see McDavid win a cup and you don't want to see the center of the universe become the biggest center of the universe. And it's I don't know. Part of me feels like you're lying to the people, man. I know you want to see McDavid lift that cup because you are into legacy and excellence, and he's the second best player of all time, and he deserves a Stanley Cup, and blah blah blah. And it's okay, cool. If we have to accept that fact that again they might be destined for it, which really hurts because I'm petty, I'm salty. It's crazy how 12 months ago the Canucks could have killed the Oilers. If they beat the Oilers in 6 games, does Draisaitl sign the extension ASAP? Does he? If the Oilers don't make the Stanley Cup Finals last year, is it all? You know what I'm saying, Trevor? There's so many questions there, but they did make the finals. They did get to hear how Edmonton feels like in June, and that would make a player fall in love with the situation, especially if you have the other best player in the league on your team. All in all, though, it's crazy how now it's kind of I'm not relying on them, but I just want you just mentioned, I want the Canucks to have their best options available in front of them. And for them to even have a shot at Cassidy if they pulled the plug in Vegas on him, because Quinn needs success. Quinn Hughes needs success. And maybe Bruce Cassidy isn't a good head coach on your team for 3 years, but because he can wear on you and the psychological warfare and that stuff could be grueling. You may be looking at the next Mike Keenan, but man, if he can kill it for 1 or 2 seasons, maybe that's enough to lock Quinn Hughes up for 6 or 7 years. Next year matters so much. And next year, isn't next year one of the most important seasons in Canucks history because Quinn Hughes is on the line? And you're going to give a rookie head coach that opportunity again. I get it. Because there could be success there. Look at Curtin Knockenblocker the third from the Oilers, right? We keep bringing this up because there's truth. Those guys can get it done. John Cooper never coached in the head coach, never coached in the NHL before he ripped it up. That could be there, but if Cassidy's available soon, you got to wait. You got to wait. You're talking about a guy who won a Stanley Cup 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he's got the resume for sure. And, maybe, like I said, maybe I'm being a bit too weak here, not be the biggest fan of Cassidy, but there's something there with a bunch of players not liking him and not wanting to play for him.
You're soft, Trevor. Canadian soft buttercream pie right there, buddy.
Well, maybe we'll leave it up to let's leave it up to the commenters. Let us know in the comments. If Bruce Cassidy becomes available, would he be your top coaching candidate for the Vancouver Canucks? And look, I think the John Cooper dream is probably a bit dead. I think if John Cooper's going to go anywhere, he would have been Cam by now, or he would have been, Moochie parting ways at Tampa Bay. So for me, it's Manny Malhotra, the front runner. We've obviously talked about other coaching candidates here on the program. Maybe we'll summarize as we get on here in the show. But for me, Bruce Cassidy, if gun to my head between Bruce Cassidy and Manny Malhotra, I'm saying give it to Manny Malhotra, a guy that's bled blue and green for this franchise. I'd rather see him get the opportunity than go back to the old boys club here in the NHL.
Old boys club. Bruce Cassidy's been a head coach like a couple of times, bro. I think you're just way too in love with. You spent a couple of game like watching Manny Malhotra and Abbotsford, and you're like, oh my god, this guy's Bill Belichick II, bro. Unreal. Manny Malhotra's the greatest thing ever. Oh, we better make Manny Malhotra a head coach this summer, else he's gonna be the next John Cooper somewhere else. Like, you are just fully in love with Manny Malhotra, and you're like, yo, if I had a choice between Bruce Cassidy and Manny Malhotra to save Quinn Hughes' career as a Vancouver Canuck, you're like, yo, let's give it to Manny Malhotra. Cool. I like it. Whatever, man. That's cool. You could be right. That's crazy to me. That sounds absolutely ridiculous. One of the craziest things you've ever said. But I hope you're right, because apparently Manny Malhotra is already like the head coach. Like, he's already the favorite. Okay?
Perfect. Well, hey, Kyle, I believe the blue and green more than you, buddy. Again, McDavid tattoo, cheering for the Oilers right now. It's something I cannot get behind, man. But but more about some bad blood on the other side, because apparently there's people who got some bad blood with us. So let's get into that as we touch on the other side about Quinn Hughes, the New Jersey Devils situation, and why we're balding. That's all coming up here on Locked On Canucks. Let's shout out our friends over at Amazon Fire TV Stick. Man, oh man, I'm getting older now, man, but I still like to game once in a while. And I just learned that your Amazon Fire TV Stick can also be an Xbox, okay? All you got to do is turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices, and no console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign into the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to rock and roll. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25, NHL 25 featuring Quinn Hughes, and Call of Duty Black Ops 6. It's as easily as it is to stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube the 3rd Gen. Let's go and shout out our friends over at Indeed. All right, you realize that your business needed to hire someone like yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? It's easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job posting on other job sites, because Indeed sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. And even when I was in a pinch earlier, okay, Kyle Bowen left the show, okay? His Canucks heart was broken, and I had to go into Indeed to find Deepak Roberts III. And that's exactly when Indeed sponsored jobs came in handy. They made sure that my post was seen by the right candidates right away. Now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this very podcast. Locked On Canucks. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed, is all you need.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Hit the like button, subscribe, and join the party, man. All right? Bagsy, Bowen, Bagsy, and the people. Yes, the people. Speaking of which, we got to get to the comments. Look at this comment from Howdy, I'm not your friend, saying, bring back Deepak Roberts. He loved that guy. And I'm like, I read this comment. I got sensitive. I was like, damn, I really need a hug right now. This is really dark. I'm sensitive right now. I'm vulnerable. Haven't been doing my push-ups. Haven't been breathing. So it's like, yo, I'm soft. Trevor, maybe you should call me after the show. But then I think about it. We just spent the first 12 minutes hoping that Bruce Cassidy gets fired, okay? And speaking of Bruce Cassidy, this person, I don't even know how to read this name. This is like some RuneScape type of name right here. But saying that Cassidy would have to get swept by the Oilers for this to happen. And I think even if they lose in 5 and 6, there's just a chance. They've already been through 3 head coaches already, and like the February reports about this guy being like the hardest SOB in the league, and he's annoying to play for, blah blah blah. Like, you never know. The writing could be on the wall, and maybe Vegas wants to get ahead of or put themselves in a position. I don't know, to like look elsewhere, but also be in the John Cooper sweepstakes next year. I don't know. I just don't know. Who knows? Vegas is very, very unpredictable. If you've ever been to Vegas, you would know. No, Trevor, did I ever tell you that story that when I made out with a 50-year-old there, 55-year-old, 2 of them, in front of my mom?
What?
There's a photo somewhere. But what stays in Vegas, baby. In front of my mom, I did that thing. Like, it wasn't even. These weren't workers. Like, you paid them $10 to like kiss them and take a photo. Like, they were just at the pool party, and that's why they used to call me Canine Bowen. What?
2 50-year-olds, not even just one.
Two. I swear, dude. This
at the same time,
dude. It's not just a kiss. Like, just no. Maybe I don't even. You know what? Bruce Cassidy, he could get fired. He could get fired, Trevor. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're a dog, buddy, man. I never knew that story, man. I didn't know you had it in you, but hey, like you said, it used to be called Canine Bowen for a reason. And speaking of canines, man, I think there's some canines after us in the comments, not happy about us suggesting that maybe a window has opened up here between the New Jersey Devils and the Vancouver Canucks after the New Jersey Devils end of season media availability. And look, I think we got to make one thing clear too, because I saw with some of our commenters being like, "Oh, all you got to do is trade Pettersson, Willander, and a couple of firsts for Jack and Luke," and it's like that isn't in no way, shape, or form happening. But I think all we're saying is, the New Jersey Devils thought they were average last season, and look, it's pretty easy to spin it the other way, saying that Jack Hughes makes them not average anymore; it makes them above average. But all we're saying is that maybe a door's opened up here. And Kyle, I think you and I have said it all along: every day is no. I think you got to go after Luke before you go after Jack, and that's the only recipe that makes any sort of semblance of sense here. But I mean, like, what did you see anything that caught your eye in terms of Devils fans being angry with us?
No, because again, the Devil, I feel like there's a 0.1% chance like a trade like this actually happens ASAP, whether it's Luke or Jack. Because again, if you listen to yesterday's press conference, and we touched on this like 28 minutes into the episode, like Tom Fitzgerald of the Devils is questioning like the depth scoring on his team more so than anything. And I think when he's referring to like this team needing changes, he's more so looking again to the depth pieces, like the bottom 6. And they want a Pius Suter. Like they'd be a team that'd be lining up to get Pius Suter, right? And that's why Devils fans are mad at us. Like, why are you saying Jack's going to the Canucks when Tom Fitzgerald's not even mad at him? He's mad at other parts of his team. But again, I said there's a 0.1% chance because he seems delusional right now. He seems a little fiery. He seems a little emotional, right? That's a key word, emotional. And this is business, baby. And we said there's a 0.1% chance Doncic got traded. Like you just never, ever know in the business of sport. And I just wonder if like Rutherford and Alvin are actually calling him and just talking about it and seeing if they can catch, they can catch him on something. Because we brought it up with the whole Bruce Cassidy, Manny Malhotra thing. Like, we really need to impress Quinn Hughes. Bro, that's a lock. Like, the Canucks need to look at this season as it sucks because it's a team sport. But again, I've never seen a better player than Quinn Hughes ever in my life on the Vancouver Canucks. Sorry, I didn't live through Pavel Bure, and I just know Quinn Hughes is better than Pavel Bure. I know what's going to happen because at the end of the day, this guy's going to win championships. I feel it. He's not a diva too. He's super serious. He's getting better and better. He's around Luke and Jack every summer, like in a hyperbolic time chamber, training like a Super Saiyan every summer. Like, he's going to do magnificent, excellent things. And if I'm the Canucks, I'm doing whatever it takes to bring at least one of those Hughes brothers here, whatever it takes, because I feel like that's automatic. You bring Luke here, it's automatic that Quinn Hughes, he's gonna stay. He's gonna stay. Like, I don't think he's gonna. Something just tells me, like, yeah, it's one thing to maybe play with Jack in New Jersey, but you could play on the same line with Luke. I don't know. Get it done. It sounds crazy and stupid, but I think that's what desperation does, right? And dude, as a Canucks fan, Begsy, I'm so desperate to keep Quinn Hughes. next year is so important. It's so important, bro, because I'll go bald by the age of 33 if we know Quinn is gone next year. Like I don't even want to talk about it, bro.
Well, I think one sneaky move to watch for with the Vancouver Canucks would be reacquiring the 3rd-round pick, right? Because right now, to make an offer sheet to Luke, they need to have their 1st and their 3rd-round pick. They don't have their 3rd-round pick in this year's draft. They traded it away to the Montreal Canadiens in the deal that brought Casey DeSmith to Vancouver. So I think that's one move to potentially watch for as we get closer to the draft.
I don't know if Luke Hughes is eligible for an offer sheet anyways. I remember seeing this on Twitter. I remember seeing this like from a smart person. Like I don't think he's eligible even for a certain type of offer. I don't know. Someone's got to confirm that, but I know he's an RFA, but I think he I don't think he's eligible. So it's okay, Beck. Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, there you go. Insider Kyle Bauer. This is why I got my job back. This is why I'm the highest paid person on Locked On Canucks. It is what it is. Okay, so we have to protect our fans from that. Luke Hughes is not eligible for an offer sheet, so it's going to be Elias Pettersson for Luke Hughes.
That's simple, eh? Unbelievable. Yeah, I warm up to that the more and more you talk about it, but man, oh man, it would put the Canucks forward group in a precarious position for sure. I think if you're going to trade Pettersson, you get some elite talent back. Like I'd be targeting more of like that Larkin Barzal type. Luke Hughes for Elias Pettersson, and then you got Jake DeBrusk as your best forward. That's a scary place to be if you're a fan of the Vancouver Canucks.
But it's like, again, you just keep Quinn around. Like, how old is Quinn? He just turned 25. You keep him around for 5 more years minimum. Like, you have time to find some pieces. That's the ultimate goal 25. Here. Because so, yeah, I don't know. Sounds crazy. We sound like stupid. Okay, you know what? We're not getting any of the Hughes brothers. I'm sorry. We just wasted everyone's time. It's not happening. It's not happening, bro. I forgot Elias Pettersson had 44 points this year. I forgot.
Hey, 45 points. Don't sell the guy short.
I'm sorry. I just forgot. I just totally forgot that. Yeah. I don't think that's the 3rd-line center Tom Fitzgerald is crying about, straight up.
Yeah. Well, I think Luke Hughes not being offer sheet eligible just change it a bit. It's not like you can just sign this guy to a massive $8.5-9 million deal, give him a couple picks. The fact that you actually physically have to deal with this guy does change the equation there. So, Kyle, I'm glad we made you the highest paid person on Locked On Canucks for that top-notch research. Let's cut to break here. One thing I do want to mention the other side was Patrick Levine talked to season ticket members the other day, and he alluded to another reason why the Canucks may have struggled so hard this year. That's coming up here on Locked On Canucks. Before we get back to the program, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA and NHL playoffs are in full swing, and every night's delivering highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's the game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. And FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before puck drop and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. And man, oh man, tonight you got the Winnipeg Jets eyeing to tie their series against the Dallas Stars. I mean, man, oh man, you know that I'm cheering for either of these teams against either Vegas or the Edmonton Oilers in the conference finals. But let's see if Winnipeg can tie it up here. I'd be placing my money on that. I think Kyle Connor anytime goal. My daughter's favorite player, Kyle Connor. Got to place a few bucks on him. The Winnipeg Jets, they ain't going down easy. But no matter what you're betting on, make sure you use FanDuel. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. And if it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Boom, bam. People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. And we're at the end of the show. And sometimes I forget, man. I forget, like, we got to do more shows every week, especially in the off season, where like the whole show is just comments. Every part of the show, they just choose what we get to talk about because, you know what I'm saying? We like it's about the people, man. It really is. Speaking of the people, again, we'll get to some comments. But this just came up on my Twitter. Okay, this is ultimate people knowledge right here, okay? Apparently, the Vancouver Canucks, and maybe a lot of the proceeds go to charity. They're selling the old seats at Rogers Arena. Okay, how many Stanley Cups did we win in that arena?
One Stanley Cup was awarded in that arena.
I hope that 100% of the proceeds go to. I don't know if you can do the research for me, but again, the Canucks are selling the old seats that they just removed from Rogers Arena like yesterday or 2 days ago. They're selling them to the people. They're saying, own a piece of history. What history? I don't know. We got to see we got to see a Western Conference championship. Cool. Great. Thank you. I don't know where that merchandise is. Never bought it. Why would I? We got to see Henrik and Daniel, play the last game. Anyways, you can buy a seat, bring it home. And I'm praying right now. I'm praying that it's not proceeds of the profits here go to charity. It's all of it. It's all of it. All of it's got to go to the Canucks for Kid Fund, man. I'm telling you. Please, 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 Aquilini. I know business is business, and you're trying to control your inventory and make the most out of your asset. But please do not take a portion from these seat sales and put it in your pocket. Okay, please, please.
Man, yeah, like I said, it's got 100% go to charity. Otherwise, it's a portion's going to charity and a portion's going to Aquilini's divorce fund. Man, unbelievable.
Okay. Next comment. Yo, it's Aquilini. Like that. You ever watch The Godfather? Yeah, Trevor, you gotta watch out, brother. Okay, come on. Anyways, okay. This one comes from Japan. He's saying, "Don't buy those seats. My buddy is installing the new seats, and the old seats have mice living in them." Wow. Okay, what type of insider knowledge do we? Just want to say, join the Discord. Japan, one of the funniest guys in the Discord. I wish you saved that for the Discord because, again, with what Trevor just said and with what you just said about Aquilini's arena, bro, we might not do an episode on Monday. If we're missing on Monday, we love you, okay?
It's funny, man. I talked to one of my buddies last night, ball hockey captain Aaron Gray, the mayor of Surrey, and I was like, "Yeah, what kind of shows do you want to hear on Locked On Canucks?" He's like, "You guys should do a 30-minute episode on the seat change." I was like, "You should go F yourself." But now, with this going on, with the mice in there, with the shady proceeds of the seat funds, there might be something here.
I want to. Okay, let's read this. Okay, again, the Aquilini selling the seats. Okay, thank you for your support of the Vancouver Canucks. I'm reading it straight from the little press release that they just had. Okay, thank you for your support of the Vancouver Canucks this offseason. We are undergoing an extensive project to replace the seats at Rogers Arena, which we aim to complete prior to the start of next season. As a valued full season ticket member, we want to offer you an opportunity to take home your current seats from Rogers Arena by making a $50 per seat donation to the Canucks for Kid Fund. Okay, so I read it wrong. Okay, my bad, Aquilini. I'm super sorry, Aquilini. I love you. Don't hurt me. Okay, I'm watching too much movies. I sleep with a knife. I got to go to therapy. I'm sorry. But if you're a season ticket holder, you can buy the seats for $50. And I just hope I didn't read it in that statement. They got to make a $50 donation to the Canucks for Kid Fund. I hope all of it goes to the Canucks for Kid Funds. Okay, please. Because I know you don't got playoff revenue, but now you may have some seat revenue. Please.
Man, oh man. Okay, so we've avoided one controversy with the Vancouver Canucks. Another controversy came up yesterday. It's the old one with JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, and Patrick Levine talked about it during his meeting with season ticket holders yesterday. And one of the clips that was going around was him talking about the situation with JT Miller coming into camp extremely prepared, and Alvin went on to say that some of the younger players, quote, weren't as prepared as they needed to be, right? And he didn't name check Pettersson. He just talked about the young players in general, which I found interesting because for the most part, the story has been Pettersson wasn't prepared. But Kyle, do you think that there was something else to what Alvin was saying, that maybe there was multiple younger players that weren't prepared coming into camp there? And you think about some of the guys that struck off the hop, like Nils Höglander came to mind, but reports were that he had a pretty good camp and looked good early on.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's Nils Höglander. I saw, again, research and development team Kyle Bowen holding it down, highest paid hockey Canucks podcaster in Locked On Canucks history. I did the research yesterday, and there's like a little plaque in the Canucks gym, and they award they put a name on the plaque, like whoever's the most fittest Canuck, and this year it was Nils Höglander. So it's not It's not him. I think he was just taking a shot at Elias Pettersson. And you guys got to search it up on Twitter yourself. Okay, like Alvin again meeting with season ticket holders and just being transparent about what happened this year. And I love that, right? I love that. That's super super cool. But there's got to be a no phone policy in there, man. No, honestly speaking, because this team don't need more noise, and some of those clips are going around, and just the doubling down on supporting JT Miller and the doubling down. And I know this stuff may be the truth, right? Like it is the truth. The doubling down of JT's a great guy, and like talking about how he prepares himself more. Like he might have been the second fittest Canuck this year, okay, going into camp for real. Like how he prepares himself and how he's 32 and he doesn't have a lot of shots left at the Stanley Cup, and he takes this really seriously. And apparently Pettersson wasn't looking good, or Alvin confirming that too, and that's kind of how the feud started again. Because I'm putting 2 and 2 together, but Miller's like, "Yo, Elias, what the hell are you doing? Why are you looking like this? Why? Like, I want to win now." Boom, bam, animosity. The fact that Alvin's just so transparent about that is cool and whatnot, but again, no cameras, please, because now we're seeing Miller being raised and put on a pedestal, and Pettersson being like, "What the hell are you doing, bro?" Again,
Yeah.
This was on you. This was on you. And I'm kind of sick and tired of it. And I just wish they had like a no phone policy for real.
Yeah, it's maybe not the story that we all predicted, right? Like as soon as JT Miller got traded, all of a sudden, like Rick Tocchet, Jim Rutherford, Patrick Alvin, just gassing this guy up. It makes it feel like they regret trading JT Miller. And I think Patrick Alvin in that quote wanted to go on like, "Oh, JT Miller's 32, he doesn't have any more kicks at the can," which if you want to break that down is, he doesn't believe that JT Miller can win with the Vancouver Canucks. Maybe Alvin doesn't believe the Canucks are close, so they shipped that guy out to give him an opportunity somewhere else.
No, I didn't hear that. I heard more. It was just like a Miller thing, and I didn't hear like the Alvin thinking that about the team, but again, I just heard him speak highly of Miller, and how you just said, oh, you could kind of sense that this team kind of regrets trading JT Miller. That's what I heard. I felt that. I felt that because you're once again voicing what happened, and you're blaming Pettersson, but you kept Pettersson. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Can we get over it?
The blame's got to fall on you for making that choice.
These guys can't even get over it. Again, they constantly blame Elias Pettersson. They praise JT Miller, and you could just hear the regret. Like, that's why this is so hard, because we traded a number one center, and we traded the number one center that was better than our other option. And they hope that Elias Pettersson can catch up. And I think they believe deep down that he will, and he'll prevail, and he'll be the better player than JT Miller. But they know it's not a sure thing, and that's scary. Like, that's really, really scary.
It is a scary thing for the Vancouver Canucks, and hopefully Elias Pettersson is not listening to this podcast, and he's out there right now trying to look like this guy, man. I want to see him, 240, full of muscle, 112% muscle when he comes into camp.
How come you didn't show this picture right here, man?
There we go, man. There we go.
Hey,
Hey,
K9 bowing, baby, K9.
Speaking of K9 bowing, one big question to get to before we get out of here on Locked On Canucks. So you mentioned a few minutes ago, in case you missed it, that Kyle Bowen made out with two 50-year-old ladies. Ladies, were they ladies or men?
What happened in Vegas stays in Vegas, man. Maybe I took mushrooms. Who knows?
If it was that 50-year-old tongue, was it like warm leather? That's what's how I'm not your friend wants to know.
It's honestly, man, like what I was trying to do was 5 years ago. I was trying to reverse the court curse. I thought if I kissed a 50-year-old that after 50 years of agony and not winning the Stanley Cup, something would come our way. So I took it for the team, everything for the team. Unlike Mr. Canadian over there, who can't wait for Connor McDavid to win a Stanley Cup. Like, unreal. All in all, though, I just regret doing that in front of my mom. That's the only thing I regret. But that was like, this was actually back in 2018. So I can't believe COVID was 5 years ago. This was like in 2018 or 2017. And Trevor, we barely hung out back in the day like that. And I'm glad we didn't, because I would have dragged you down with me. and I love your family. So who knows? Like, you just don't know where the world could take us, right? So it's like, I was a bad guy, but Canine Bowen or Crazy Kyle. Like, that was two of my names, and or the Dark Knight Bowen. How about what?
I'll be damned.
Oh man, I think we got to get out of here on Locked
Yeah.
On Canucks, man. Kyle Bowen, he's had his the tongue down the throat of more 50-year-olds than I have, man. That's for sure.
Respect
No
your elders,
matter,
baby. Respect your elders, baby.
there we go. No matter what your sexual preference is, we appreciate the hell out of you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. Everyone from the everydayers to the first-time listeners. If you like what we're doing, go hit the like button, subscribe on YouTube, on the podcast side. Go follow us and leave a 5-star review. Do it for Kyle, man, so you can afford a nice good old thing of mouthwash moving forward here. Kyle, let's get into the weekend, buddy. We'll be back on Monday or before, who knows, here on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.